minutes as we see few of you are still coming in, and we'll start at 7:05. I hope that's okay. So if you don't hear us for the next 2 minutes, that's not a technical glitch. We are just, making sure that more of you join in a minute or two, and then we'll kick off. In the meantime, I'll just share my screen and we'll confirm if the screen is visible to everyone. Prasarati, is the screen visible?
Yes, Mohit. Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So for the candidates who've joined in the last minute or so, we're just waiting to get started in a minute or so. So yeah, don't worry. If you don't hear anything, that's not a technical issue. I think we're already at 7:05, so we'll get started. And of course, people as people can join as they come. So first of all, a very, very warm welcome to all the candidates who've joined us today for today's webinar. Thank you all for making time. And today we are very excited to talk about one of the latest programs, a CXO program from IIT Bombay. So this is called Executive Leadership for CMOs in the Age of AI. And we'll talk more about what the program is, how does it kind of brings some of the greatest and the latest and the greatest in marketing, and how the program is structured to ensure that the participants get the maximum benefit of learning from IIT Bombay. The fact that it's a there are multiple departments, multiple schools, and how all of them are coming together to bring some of the best elements to the table. So that's about the program, and we are very, very excited to get started with IIT Bombay and the faculty at SJM SOM as we bring this program to all of you. So thank you so much for joining in, and we'll get going. Um, so to begin with, I'll quickly introduce the speakers today. First of all, we have Professor Dinesh Sharma who's a professor of marketing at the Shailesh J. Mehta School of Management at IIT Bombay. So Professor Dinesh is one of the key faculty members for this program. Welcome, Professor Dinesh. Look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Mohit. I'm sorry, my screen there's some problem. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, so I'll be there without my
no worries.
photo. Yeah.
No worries, no worries. Along with Professor Dinesh, the other key faculty member who's joining us today is Professor Aarti Kalro. Professor Aarti is again a professor of marketing at Shailesh J. Mehta School of Management at IIT Bombay and will be another lead faculty for this program. Professor Aarti, very warm welcome to the session, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Ajay, Mr. Ajay Mehta, who's the CEO of Educational Outreach at IIT Bombay. Educational Outreach is, of course, behind all the online and hybrid programs that IIT Bombay is bringing to learners beyond IIT Bombay, and we'll hear about Educational Outreach and its initiatives from Ajay as well. So, Ajay, look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Mohit. Pleasure to be here.
And lastly, my name is Mohit. I'm a part of the Great Learning team. And of course, this program is from IIT Bombay in collaboration, delivered in collaboration with Great Learning. And while the IIT Bombay faculty and the team manages all the academic responsibilities, Great Learning team is responsible for all the non-academic aspects of the program. And we'll talk more about it when we get into the details. So with that quick introduction, we'll now get into some of the details. To begin with, I would first like to again invite Ajay to talk about educational outreach and some of the initiatives that the office is taking, and the amazing programs that they're bringing for all the candidates beyond IIT Bombay walls. So Ajay, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mohit, and a very warm welcome this evening to everybody who's on the call. So education outreach essentially is a cell within IIT Bombay that is democratizing IIT Bombay education. We curate and deliver programs for students beyond IIT Bombay. So we have multiple types of programs. We have, in terms of the way it is delivered, we have two types. One is the in-house program, where we work with corporates, curating programs to cater to their needs, and we run those programs for those organizations. Those are the customized programs that we have, which we call the in-house programs. And the other programs that we have are the open programs, which are programs like this, where we open it up to learners across industries, across companies, a large cross section, and we launch them either online or we launch them on campus, or we have a hybrid mode of launching those programs. So we have, as part of our stable, we have certificate programs. We have a diploma that we run. The diploma is the EPGD. These are Senate-approved programs, which provide you, if you go through it and you complete it, then you get the alumni status of IIT Bombay. We also have certificate programs. These certificate programs could be a participation certificate, which is the most basic type of certificate. Otherwise, like this, we would have like the program that you all are attending, we would have a completion certificate program. We also have professional certificate programs where you basically put together, you club 3 completion certificates and form 1 professional certificate program. And we have joint certificates where we tie up with some of the Fortune 100 companies or the reputed universities around the world and launch joint programs with them. In terms of the audience that we target, we target, of course, professionals like yourselves, early, mid, and late career professionals. We also target the administrative service, the government officials, students, undergraduate, postgraduate, and last but not the least, we also have programs for high school students. So the intention is to start to democratize the world-class education that IIT Bombay has to offer, to increase access to this education to students and learners beyond the IITB campus. Of course, there is a certain limitation in terms of the capacity that we have on campus. Therefore, we can't accommodate all the learners. So really, the mission of education outreach is to enhance the capacity by providing these kind of opportunities like open courses, online courses, hybrid courses, and so on. So that's kind of, in a word, what education outreach does. Again, I'd like to welcome all of you, and I'd like to thank Professor Aarti and Professor Dinesh for all the support they've been given us in curating this program. Of course, the engagement starts now. And not to mention Mohit and the great learning team that has done a great job of pulling this program together. So with that, I hand it back to Mohit. Thank you, and welcome once again, everybody.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Ajay, for that introduction. We'll move to the next steps, but just one note, and I'm sorry I didn't mention this before. For the candidates, the way this session is structured, we'll talk about the program, what are the curriculum topics, case studies, etc. But the more important part is once we're done with all of that, we'll also have a slightly extended Q&A towards the end where you'll have an opportunity to ask questions directly from the faculty and get some of these doubts clarified. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to type it out in the Q&A window and we'll address it as we go along. If it is relevant to the curriculum section, we'll take it there. If later, we'll take it there. But yes, we want to keep this very, very interactive, and we want to make sure that your questions beyond what you might have seen on the brochure or on the website get answered through this session. So that's the main agenda for today. So yeah, with that, I'll get back to the flow. So next, I would like to invite Professor Aarti to speak a bit about Shailesh J. Mehta School of Management. Of course, the school doesn't need an introduction. And I'm sure all of you here know about the school and the amazing work it's doing. But still, we'd like Professor Aarti to spend some time on some of the latest and greatest from SJM song. Over to you, Professor Aarti.
Thank you so much, Mohit. So very good evening to everyone, and thank you so much for joining today. And I'm glad to be here along with Professor Dinesh to speak about the program. But before we speak about the program, it is important for us to tell you what we are doing at SJM SOM, which is otherwise the Selisham at the School of Management. So very interestingly, we just completed 30 years of our existence. And if you look back at SJM SOM's historical evolution over time, we actually started as a technology management school when it was established primarily to focus on, technocrat education. And that's the kind of ideology we even today carry forth, being an interdisciplinary school existing in a large ecosystem of IIT Bombay. And when we speak of IIT Bombay, it's not just about technology. It's a lot about entrepreneurship. It's a lot about an ecosystem existence that, we learn from so many departments. So over the years, we've also changed the vision of our school. Once we were established in 1995, the focus was on technology management. But today we are a full-grown school which focuses on the underlying phenomenon of using technology, but again, in every domain, be it marketing, finance, operations, OBHR, ITIS, and so on. And a lot of our faculty members, it's a small school. Professor Varadraj Bapat is the head of the school. It's a small school of about 30 faculty members. Across different areas, we have faculty members. And more interestingly, the school has a lot of interdisciplinary interactions with different centers, and there's a lot of contribution we make to CMINDS, which is the Center for Intelligence and Machine Learning. Then you also have the sustainability, departments like climate studies. So we have faculty members who are a part of all these different centers. The growth and purpose of the school over the 30 years has evolved, seeing what the market demands from our students. Very briefly, I would like to tell you that we have different programs. One is our flagship MBA program. Initially, we used to have students who were coming only with an engineering background, but today we have students coming from all areas of disciplines, be it engineering, sciences, arts, commerce. More interestingly, we take students with at least 2 years of work experience. 90% of our batch comes with 2 years of work experience. We offer an executive MBA program along with Washington University, St. Louis. That's a joint MBA program that we offer. We have a very strong research program, the PhD program. We have 100 plus PhD students in our school. And these students are, again, many of them coming from industry in external category. There's college teacher students and so on, different categories of PhD students. And as Ajay was mentioning, we offer a lot of, continual education programs to industry. We do in-house management programs for corporates and many other certificate programs and the EPGD program again. And we're looking forward to kind of floating more and more CXO programs across domains. And marketing is, I think, the second program that we are offering from the school. And we're really happy that we've got great interest from all of you, and we're looking forward to share more details about the program and happy to answer all the questions that you have. Thank you, Mohit. Over to you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Arti, for that overview. So moving on, I'd also take a minute to speak about great learning. So we've been in the edtech space for over a decade, and one of the mottos that we've had is to enable career success through transformational learning in collaboration with some of the world's best universities. Over the last 12 years of our existence, we've touched more than 15 million learners across 170 countries and delivered about 500 million learning hours on our platform, and that makes us very, very happy because of the kind of impact that we've had. We've also continuously got some of the best learner ratings, and I think one number that makes me super happy is the course completion rate, which is upwards of 90%, and it's something which is unique in the industry. And the way we kind of make this happen is through a very, very strong program management and the support team who works alongside the faculty. So while faculty takes care of all the academic aspects, the program management team ensures that the learners stay on track, are completing their assignments on track, and provide them all the support to help them complete the program on time. Because while learning has never been easy, it's probably interesting to begin the journey, but then to stay put and to continuously go through it in a disciplined manner is something where almost everyone kind of needs a helping hand, and that's where our program management team comes into picture. And of course, some of the best academic partnerships that we've had are with HMS, Johns Hopkins, of course, IIT Bombay being one of the best, MIT, Northwestern School of Professional Studies, the University of Texas at Austin, Duke Fuqua, Deakin University, Chicago Booth, and so on. And today, again, we are very excited and very happy to be launching this fantastic program with SJM School of Management. Also, I think this is very special because while CMO as a program is probably an established concept, but then this program specifically brings a very unique flavor because there's a strong blend of the marketing strategy and leadership context from the School of Management, but then the fact that this is SGM SOM is a part of IIT Bombay, which means there's a lot more technology flavor, there's a lot more AI flavor to the program, and which makes it a very unique offering. And we'll hear more from Professor Aarti and Professor Dinesh as they speak about the curriculum. But at the outset, I think this makes the program very unique in the way it's been structured in terms of both the topics that it will cover and the learning journey, the way it will be delivered. So I'm sure you will find it very interesting as we talk more about it. Now, we'll get into some of the key highlights of the program. Right, so it's a 8-month hybrid program, which means that part of the program will be delivered through campus immersion, one at the beginning, one at the end, and in the interim we'll have live sessions, which will be online. Of course, as we mentioned, the program is designed and will be delivered by IIT Bombay faculty, by international faculty that Professor Aarti, Professor Dinesh have looped in from some of the best universities in the US, from some of the industry experts who are actively working in this space, and some of the industry leaders. So it's a mixed group to ensure that the best of learning kind of reaches the candidates from some of the world-class faculty and also people who are working in the industry. So in terms of that, it's a great mix of folks to learn from. And of course, the idea is to keep the curriculum super industry relevant, which is delivered through a mix of live sessions from the faculty, from industry experts, and a mix of master classes from some of the known names in the industry. As we said, there are 2 campus immersions, and while the focus, and as I said, while there's a lot of focus on integrating AI, Agentic AI, and some of the latest and greatest technologies, marketing analytics, there's no expectation for candidates to have any coding background, any technology background. All of this has been crafted in a way to ensure that learners build a strong motivation. All the leaders that join the program build a strong intuition about some of these technologies and how to use this, where to use this, where to not use this, from a very no-code perspective. So while this brings in the technology, but the expectation is not to have a strong technical grounding, but to have a strong intuition and then be able to leverage some of these technologies. And of course, as we move through the program, leaders will build some of the capstone projects as they go through the program, and some of and this will be a part of the end program campus immersion. And of course, towards as I said, there's a continuous assistance that all the learners will get from the program manager, from the Great Learning team, whose motive is to help all the professionals stay on track and complete the program on time. So those are some of the things we wanted to kind of talk about upfront. And now I would like to invite Professor Aarti to take us into some of the next details, starting with who's this program for and the details from there on. So Professor Aarti, over to you.
Thank you, Mohit. So if you look at the eligibility criteria, Mohit will speak more about it. You'll see that we're looking for 8+ years work experience. And we understand that, we are not just targeting CXO position executives. We are open to people coming from other business functions also. So I'm sure this program is going to definitely add value to those who are already in their CMO positions and those who are aspiring to, be the next boardroom executive. We are also targeting senior marketing professionals. We're looking at business heads, entrepreneurs, founders. If you have your own startups, own companies, you want to look at your growth strategy, you want to kind of look at accretive growth where you're looking at acquisitions or organic growth. I think most of these sessions will, be relevant to people coming from even other functions in some sense. So if you're looking at revenue, growth, data-driven decision making, I think this program will be relevant to you. And again, brand managers, product managers, you may be in more PR roles. This program again will be useful. We made sure the curriculum aligns to different industry contexts. It also kind of, covers both B2C as well as B2B aspects. And today's AI and digital transformations are kind of impacting the role of marketing or the function of marketing quite a bit. So in some sense, we are kind of, making sure that whichever industry you come from, whichever role it is B2B or B2C, we kind of have relevant content which covers all these domains and areas. Would you want to move next, please?
Yes, I just did. I think it should reflect on your screen.
So as Mohit mentioned, we've been having this long discussion about, making this program more hybrid in the sense that we did not want the entire learning journey to be online. Hence, we decided to have two immersions, one in the beginning of the program where we want to, make sure the faculty who are going to be teaching in this program get to know you better, get to know your organizations where you're working better, your roles better. And hence, we've kind of sandwiched the online part in between two immersions. The first immersion is going to be focused on the foundational aspects, where we will start from, a macro perspective of marketing strategy and how today we have to kind of rethink and understand how, as I said, digital transformations and AI are, affecting our marketing stack end to end in all our customer journeys, be it B2B or B2C. This first immersion, which will be on campus, will focus on modules which are again more value creation, marketing strategy. And then we will have our online modules, which I will throw more detailed information and light on very soon. And then we will close with an immersion program again, where you will spend 3 to 4 days with your same cohort on campus. And this particular second module will also have a capstone project presentation, which is a part of the overall evaluation for this program. So coming to the detailed modules that will be covered through these two immersion sessions, as well as the online journeys, we will be speaking about, I'm sure you can kind of go through more details in our brochure, and we are happy to answer more questions. We will be talking about the different business models, growth strategies, competitive landscape, and how these are kind of transitioning with the digital transformations that are happening across different industries. We will also kind of spend time talking about the value chain in these different businesses and the value chain analysis. We'll speak a lot about, topics like customer lifetime value, customer journeys, customer personas, and how each of these are again getting impacted by, AI today. And again, how do we kind of, be on our toes to bring in more customer engagement with this changing customer journeys, especially if we move from offline, not just to online. Today, customers are, using omni-channels, or in the phygital context, how customer experiences are changing. So we will talk about these through different sessions in the second module. Mohit, if you could just go to the next slide, please. We talk about product and brand management strategies. Again, today with the entire, creator economy changing and is being so dynamic, the conversations that brands are having with their consumers is again changing, and there's a lot of AI mediation that is happening. So we will talk about that. And we'll also talk about how brand valuations, brand equity models are, evaluated. We'll speak of the revenue and pricing model in one of the modules. Here again, with different business models, with D2C brands, with value-based pricing, how the pricing dynamics are working today. So we'll speak of that. We'll also have some sessions on go-to-market strategies. And more importantly, in all of these modules, we'll see how AI and digital transformations are, transforming marketing strategy in a way where organizations are, pivoting their models, or their organizations are changing their decision-making stack in marketing. So we'll see all of these in every module. So it's not like AI and data analytics is going to be just one module. All of these topics that we are going to be covering, we are going to see how AI's role in it, and how we as marketers have to kind of evolve to the changing landscape of our customer preferences. Another important module today is, again, where we are going to kind of understand our consumers better. And we are going to look at a lot of methodologies, tools, starting from ethnographic research to experimental design, to text mining using LDA. Your neuromarketing today, again, is growing a lot in terms of understanding what the consumer is thinking. At the same time, we will also look at social listening, customer journey analytics. So we'll talk about all of these methods again, and how, as companies today, we have access to so much user-generated content on Reddit, on LinkedIn, and how we kind of use those pieces of information to make more informed decisions. Moving on to the next slide. So as I said, it just won't be descriptive, also more in terms of predictive analytics, more in terms of prescriptive analytics. We'll look at different tools also. We'll also do some foundational sessions on AI. We'll also focus today on Agentic AI. Very important, because today we are creating agents for our pricing models, agents for our, creator models or creation models on ad creations. Which of these will work in your context? Those are the decisions that you will perhaps bring in your capstone projects, because each one of you will kind of bring in all these learnings into your own industry, in your own organization, how you can kind of, build in these modules. So you'll be presenting that. So we will look at, what is more relevant for your business. And again, the entire digital and social media strategy today is changing. So we will look at the role of how we are moving from SEOs to your AI overviews that Google provides, and how does a brand, make sure it is present there, or your GEOs where your AI answers need to have your brand and in a more positive light. So we will talk about that. We'll also talk about the entire MarTech, the marketing digital transformations. And as Mohit mentioned, we don't expect you to have any basic coding understanding. Whatever we build will be more from implementation point of view, but what is also going to be very important in the classroom discussions through our cases is going to be more, strategic decision making, and how do we kind of decide, should we do this, should we not do this, and so on. Go ahead, Mohit, if possible. So yeah, again, marketing analytics, agents, we'll be talking about all of these different modules. We'll have a lot of in-class case studies. So primarily, most of our faculty members use cases to teach. So it'll be helpful if we kind of also get your background, see the industries you're coming from. So we'll make sure the cases are relevant to the entire cohort. And more importantly, we'll also have simulations and class exercises for every module, which will kind of give you a more hands-on experience on the different topics that we are actually covering. So these are some of the sample cases. Again, there's a lot that has not been mentioned here, but again, each class, for example, if you're talking about predictive analytics, you have the Netflix case study. Then we also have the Tesla case study. We have the HSBC case study. So we'll be talking about how these different organizations are using digital transformations and AI to kind of, look at the dynamic changes that are happening in marketing and how are they adopting these. We'll also kind of have, as I said, a few simulations in some of the classes, especially in classes where we are looking at customer journeys. We are looking at pricing strategies. So there will be some simulations that we will be using. Could we go to the next one, please? And as I already mentioned, there will be a capstone presentation where you will be expected to create a CMO 100-day roadmap, starting from first initial assessment of what is happening currently in your own organization, at your own workplace in terms of the entire marketing stack, and also then presenting some pilot models that will be feasible in your organization. First of all, prioritizing these different applications of AI in your own context, running some pilot models, and then proposing which of these pilot models could actually be largely tested within your organization. So let me actually spend a few minutes here talking to you about the profiles of the faculty members who will be offering this course. As Mohit mentioned, Professor Dinesh is on this call. Professor Dinesh's expertise comes more from his sales and marketing strategy experience from the industry. Professor Dinesh specializes in marketing strategy and pricing, and more in terms of value creation, value chain. So he'll bring in that expertise. We have Professor Mayank Parekh, who has been our professor of practice at the Celestial Mehta School of Management. Professor Mayank Parekh was the CMO of Maruti earlier and later moved on to being the CEO and president of Tata Motors. He retired from there, joined us as a professor of practice, and he will be talking to you more about the role of, CMO's decision making and vision, larger strategic leadership, change management. Though he primarily comes from the automotive space, but he brings in a lot of plethora of experience as a CMO and CEO himself, and he'll be taking sessions on marketing strategy. We have Professor Shrinvanti Chaudhary, who again specializes in digital and social media strategy. She specializes in consumer psychology. She'll be taking sessions on that. I will be taking some sessions again on brand management, customer journeys, customer value propositions, more importantly on marketing research, both supervised learning, unsupervised learning. We'll be talking about those and how digital transformations and AI are, transforming customer journeys. My specialization again lies in integrated marketing communications, comes more in the space of brand management, consumer behavior psychology, and neuroscience. One important thing during the immersion is we've also planned for a lot of lab visits where you will get access to lab or laboratory modules like consumer neuroscience. How do you kind of use an eye tracker or a heart rate variability equipment to kind of study and get more consumer insights? You'll be visiting the Future Technologies Laboratory at IIT Bombay. You'll be visiting the Digital Twins Lab at IIT Bombay, and many more other labs, which are very relevant in the marketing context. So given the interdisciplinary nature, this kind of exposure will help you understand that there are so many different, methods where you can actually understand your consumers better or create better customer experiences. So we'll be talking about that and going through that in the immersive program. So we are the 4 marketing faculty from the school. We've also planned for master classes. Professor Dennis Shah from Georgia State University will be taking sessions on digital transformations. We have industry experts, Mr. Nilesh, Mr. Satwik, and Mr. Mandar, who will be doing hands-on exercises on Agentic AI, Gen AI applications in this entire CMO's 100-day roadmap that we are talking about, using data analytics as well as AI. Mohit, if you can just see if there's anything that I have to cover, if I've missed something. Yes, so I've already spoken about the exposure to technology, infrastructure, and labs. And as I said, most of your sessions being marketing sessions, it's not going to be theoretical. It's going to be a lot of hands-on learning and simulations. Obviously, the reason also we are kind of having these 2 immersive programs is the peer-to-peer learning that happens in classroom, which we've seen in most executive education and even in our regular MBA courses. This peer-to-peer learning, when you come from different industries, is very important, and we'll make sure we leverage that through different group activities and so on. And as I mentioned, the different program faculty members and industry practitioners will bring in different expertise in different modules of this program. Yeah, over to you, Mohit. Yes.
Great. Great. Thank you so much, Professor Aarti, for that fantastic overview. And before I actually get into eligibility criteria, one more note on immersion, because I think we've had a very interesting debate with the faculty, and they were very keen to make sure that we start with an immersion and end with an immersion, with the purpose of ensuring that the cohort that gets formed as a part of it, right, stays close-knit. The faculty can know the learners, like all of you, better, and even amongst the professionals, they can integrate really well. And I think that's a very, very important aspect of the program, not just while the program continues, but even after, once the program concludes. I think all these cohorts kind of stay together for a much longer duration, and then there's a lot of very interesting peer-to-peer conversations that happen, and then this kind of community kind of keeps building and keeps growing. So I think that's also one of the central elements of the program, and that's also what we are trying to kind of achieve, as to build this community, and then as we do more such cohorts, to add to this community of marketeers, of senior marketing professionals, or people from non-marketing roles who come together and kind of have very engaging and fruitful discussions. I just wanted to add that one bit, because that's also we would say a long-term objective that we are trying to achieve as a part of this program. So with that, I'll maybe spend a minute on the eligibility criteria. So of course, from an educational background point of view, the learners are expected to have either a bachelor's or a master's degree, or maybe a higher qualification in either business administration or marketing from a recognized university. And in terms of professional experience, the minimum bar that we've kept is 8 years of relevant professional experience, because as we said, that this is for senior leaders, be it from marketing or non-marketing functions, and we want to make sure that the cohort has at least that some sense of uniformity when it comes to experience. So 8 years is the minimum work experience level that we expect from the candidates. In terms of the selection process, it's a fairly simpler one, I would say. So it starts with an application. All the interested candidates can apply by filling out a simple online application form. You can visit the Great Learning website. I would also request the Great Learning team on the webinar to share the link of the program page on the chat window, so that the candidates can refer to it at a later point of time. So for those of you who are interested, you can fill in the details specifically around what's your work experience. Why do you think this program could be helpful? The idea for us is to not really disqualify or reject someone, but the idea for us is to make sure that the program is a good match for what you are looking for, and you can benefit from it, and vice versa, which is where the second part comes in, which is the application review. So the team just reviews the application submitted by the candidates with the point of view of ensuring that there's a good fit between the candidates and the program objectives, and which is where understanding what are you expecting from the program, what are the outcomes that you are expecting for yourself and your organization makes it important. And we request you all to fill some of those details as you are putting together, as you are filling the application form. And then finally, for those of you that get through this, selected candidates are rolled out an offer letter, and you should pay the registration fee to confirm your seat in the cohort. The cohort starts in November, sometime around mid of November. We'll get back with exact dates. But it starts in the second half of November, and given it's an 8-month program, it will continue till around July. So first immersion will happen in November. The last immersion will happen towards the end, somewhere in the month of July. So that's at a very high level what the process looks like. And of course, there's a sample certificate of what the candidates who successfully complete the program. So they'll receive a certificate from the Educational Outreach Office at IIT Bombay. Yeah, so and for those of you looking for more information, please do visit the website and the program page. Yeah, so with that, I think we officially conclude the agenda that we had for the session, and we would now like to move on to one of the best parts, I would say, of the session, where we'd love to answer some of the questions that you have. And so I think a couple of things I'll take it up, because this is what we've been hearing from candidates. One, and this is for the faculty. So Professor Aarti, Professor Dinesh, as people work through their capstone projects, could you maybe take a minute to explain what type of guidance is available? How are they guided from, let's say, when they come up with an idea to the final presentation? What are the checkpoints, and so on?
So if I may go ahead,
Yes.
so there will be definitely mentors assigned to each pair of participants who are working on their capstone presentation. So most likely it will be in pairs, given the registrations that we receive. Faculty mentors will kind of guide you in terms of clearly identifying the management development problem that you're trying to look at in your capstone project. Because if you have clarity on what is the problem that you're trying to solve from your own industry, from your own organization, from the learnings of this program, it'll really be relevant for you to then go back and apply these learnings at your workplace the very next day. So faculty mentors will be assigned for your 100-day roadmap, and we'll kind of guide you through the 4 phases of this roadmap that we have planned, starting from identifying this MDP, assessing the different problems, prioritizing different problems. That will be phase 1. Second phase would be is you kind of deciding which would be the problems that you will take up as pilot projects that you want to solve. Then we shortlist one, and then we go ahead with solving that one particular problem. And then towards the end, looking at aspects of governance, implementation, and so on. So there will be faculty mentors guiding the capstone projects, ultimately in the final immersion. So this will start from immediately as soon as we finish the first immersion, when we start our online modules, we start identifying the MDPs. There'll be throughout hand holding, but towards the end, when you're finally presenting your capstone presentations, end to end, you will get the guidance from your assigned faculty members. So all of us who are teaching in the program will be your mentors.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Aarti.
One thing
Professor
I like,
Dinesh, Professor.
So apart from faculty mentors, we'll have mentors from industry also. We'll rope in people from the industry who will bring in their perspective.
Got it. Got it. Thanks, Professor Aarti, Professor Dinesh, for that response. I think the next one is an interesting one, and I'm sure a few people will have something similar, which is people who have a master's degree, I mean, typically who don't have an education in business administration or marketing, but have experience in that space, because a lot of folks would have transitioned into a marketing role and have been in that role for maybe 10, 15 years, but don't have the relevant education. So for them, are they eligible? Are they not eligible? What's the way forward for them? So on that, I think, Balwinder, one thing is, and I'll maybe take a first crack at it, and then I'll ask Professor Aarti to add. So one, do reach out to the team. Depending upon the profile, I think it could be relevant, and we will explore this. So do reach out to the team. Please share the details of your profile, of your work experience, and then we can get back to you with whether this is eligible or not, because your point is valid, and we are seeing some of these profiles. And in these cases, we are also reviewing it with the faculty to see if the profile is relevant. And then we can get back to you. Professor Aarti, please feel free to add to this if I've missed anything.
Mohit, you're correct that we are okay with people coming or executives coming from allied areas, or even with fundamental understanding, because you're kind of constantly working with marketing domain in your organizations, because our initial fundamental sessions on marketing strategy will kind of give you an overview. But if you're not coming from the marketing domain, most of the cohort will be coming from marketing domain. So in that case, please send us your profile. We'll have a look. We'll have an interview with you, understand? And we may have to give you additional pre-readings to do before you join the program, because you want to be at the same page or on the same page with the rest of the cohort. And you want to enjoy the more specialized sessions better, right? So please share your profile with us. We'll be happy to review it. We'll be happy to talk to you individually. And then we can take a call. And in case you're joining the program, we'll give you some additional pre-readings and preparations to do.
Great. Thank you so much, Professor Aarti. I think one of the other questions that I've got from the team is, because this is something that has come up in other discussions, is one, what type of exercises / simulations to expect during the campus immersion, and will these be group exercises? Will these be discussions? So just maybe a minute on what to expect during immersion and what type of experiential learning can folks expect as a part of it, as a part of that. Yeah.
So as I mentioned, most of the classroom sessions will be case-based. Some sessions might require you to run some simulations, maybe in the classroom, maybe after the classroom, because we might want you to make some strategic decisions based on the simulations that we play in the class and come back and tell us as a group. Most of the activities will be in groups because group learning is a great way to learn. At the same time, it also, because you guys will be coming from different industries, the peer-to-peer learning in a group, the group synergy will kind of really add more value. There will be some exercises which will also be evaluated at an individual level. As I said, the immersion program will also have exposure to laboratories. So it will definitely be, the immersive sessions will definitely be very, very experiential, but we will make sure that even the online sessions have hands-on activities that you will do in the class as either solving a particular case or doing a class activity. We'll put you in breakout rooms for solving a particular case or solving a particular exercise, coming back and discussing that. So it will definitely be experiential. Professor Dinesh, if you want to add anything from your end, please go ahead.
I think this is perfect.
Okay. I think there's someone who's raised his hand in the audience, so I'll try and unmute them. This is Bhavik. Bhavik, I'm trying to see if I can uh, unmute you, but one sec. Would you be able to type in your question in the chat or in the Q&A window, and we can take it from there? Yeah, I think I do have an option of one sec. Great Learning team, do you have an option of muting Bhavik? Bhavik Patel.
I think he's unmuted now.
Yeah. Bhavik, go ahead and
Hello.
ask your question. Right, yes. Bhavik, can you hear us? Hello? Okay, I think Bhavik, we're not able to hear you. Best to put your question in the chat window.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, so basically, I have posted my question like what will be covered into agentic AI learning for lead generation practices for digital marketing. Because I have read that particular point in the key learning outcome, which is one of the second last point into the brochure. And there is a whole lot of things to learn, like growth strategy, strategy, and the product strategy, revenue strategy, AI strategy. But so that would be like what part in terms of what all we can achieve and what we right now don't know. But let's say let's say if I may have to join into a role where my role would be, probably initially to do performance marketing and to generate the leads, and later on to work into more of a strategic role, like after getting knowledge, acquiring knowledge from this course, and placing myself into more relevant, value adding role into the organization, into the team. So how I'll be able to add learn more into that, and probably some details I come to know about the lot of lab environment and no practicing environment is also there, availability facilities. So how we can know like get advantage of that and how we can leverage that.
Okay, thanks, Bhavik. So, Prasarati, would you take that one?
Yeah, so Bhavik, you will definitely be doing some sessions on building agents in the entire lead generation funnel, from awareness, consideration, all the way to loyalty. So again, these can be different agents for different requirements. So there will be some sessions on building your own agents, which will, again, as I said, will be hands-on exercises. Again, to use which of these tools, lead generations, which of these for, your paid Google ads and all that, you can create your AI agents. Again, to use these or not to use these is a strategic decision that you will have to make in your own work context, in your own organization. So there will be some
Okay.
discussions around that also. Also, especially when we are speaking of digital analytics, we're looking at budget allocations today, where to spend, how much to spend. So we'll be talking about that also. And more importantly, when we are speaking of, the other question that you asked in terms of strategic decision making. So the idea is to learn these tools, but more importantly, as we always say, should we use these in our organization or should we not? There'll be cases which will help you analyze the decision making aspect of it. That is kind of more strategic in nature rather than implementing the strategic decision that you're actually taking. I would also like to understand, maybe it'll be difficult one-on-one to understand from all of you what your profile is, what you're currently doing in your organization, right? But again, we'll definitely be doing AI agents from, content creation to lead generation to budget optimizations. Again, some of these AI agents helping you in your sales, depending on what funnels you're looking at in your industry. In terms of the lab, some of the labs you will be visiting to get an understanding of, how research is done in these different labs from a marketing point of view. But some of the lab exercises will actually be hands-on exercises, which you will be doing as a part of the course, and there will be some evaluation around it. So let me give you a simple example. In the market research module, you will actually be using the eye tracker in the behavioral lab. You will be running few experiments to see which of the UX UI design is actually, attracting more visual attention, or which kind of food packaging actually is better in terms of the readability or comprehension of the consumers. Or, for example, even understanding consumers say that they read the, nutrition facts panel or back of packaging. Do they really do it? So you will be running a few examples or exercises in the lab. So lab component will be both visit as well as hands-on exercise. Professor Dinesh, if you would like to add anything else. Bhavik, I hope I've answered your points that you had asked.
So I'll move on to the next one. And Bhavik, please feel free to type in the chat in case there's anything that needs to be added. And there's an interesting question on whether candidates will have access to the faculty and learnings and post labs post the course completes in case they want to reference something in the future. So I'll defer to Professor Aarti to answer that.
So we are always there to help you, happy to help you. But again, post the program, it depends, if you kind of have a lot of engagement, then I would say, please, then let's do it as a consulting assignment. But happy to kind of, guide you in your career progression. Both Professor Dinesh and I are very pro, engagement with industry. At the same time, pro engagement with our own students. So we're happy to help you, even post the program. That's an interesting question.
The only thing I think I'll add there is that while of course as Professor Aarti very graciously accepted the possibility, I think any visit to campus and labs might still be restricted because given the demand, I think there's only limited slots that are available.
That
So
is
we
true.
try
Yeah.
and add them during the program, but after the program, the access to labs might not be the case, but of course, the access to the faculty, as Professor Aarti mentioned, might still continue based on the level of engagement.
Thank you for clarifying, Mohit. And also, let me add, I'm using the word labs, and so we do a lot of programs for industry, and we work with different faculty members from different departments. Like, for example, the automotive clay lab, which is for designing automotives, is in the IDC School of Design. The Future Technologies lab is in the IDC School of Design. The Digital Twins lab is in the Mechanical Engineering department. The Neuroscience lab, the Behavioral lab is in the School of Management, but most others are in other departments. So even for this program, we also have to get permission. We have to seek permission from the heads of different departments and the faculty members in different departments. And the reason we do this, because we are an interdisciplinary institute and everyone's quite open, but access after the program will be difficult unless you kind of then go and sign an MOU with those different labs. But we will kind of introduce you to the different labs and facilities that are available on campus.
Yep. I think there's another interesting question. specifically for people who don't have any understanding or background in AI, how is this program going to help? So, Professor Arti, over to you for that
So we
one.
will be starting from the foundations of AI, starting from prompt engineering, starting from, simple GEOs. But as I said, we'll also move to agentic AI. So some of the sessions in the AI module will focus on the fundamentals also. So even if you come with like a clean slate right now, it's perfectly fine. We will kind of spend time on fundamentals. Actually, in every topic that we cover, we will first spend time on fundamentals, and then take it to a strategic decision-making role while learning some hands-on exercises on the same.
Great. Thanks, Professor Arti. There's an interesting one, and this always comes up. There's in the Q&A window from an anonymous candidate. How is this program different from the other CMO programs in the market, right? And maybe I'll spend 30 seconds on it, and then I'll ask Professor Arti to detail it out. So I think, as we said in the beginning as well, right? This is not uh, like CMO program in itself is not a new construct. However, I think the difference is the way this has been structured, the kind of two pillars that we structured it against. One is the entire marketing strategy and leadership pillar, which continues to be one of the requirements for any CMO program. But what the faculty has very cleanly built is an AI agentic AI pillar that kind of supports the foundation, and then eventually towards the end we get into the depths of it. So that level of integration of the latest technology in the market today with a detailed marketing curriculum is something which is very, very unique. So the curriculum in itself is I would say probably, as we said, this is probably India's first program to go into that level of depth when integrating these two concepts. Second is the institute where it comes from. Of course, IIT Bombay being one of the best universities in the country doesn't just bring in the B school element, it also brings in the technology with, as Professor Arti has been mentioning, with different labs from different departments, faculty integration across the board. So I think that's a unique feature that only an institute like IIT Bombay can bring. And this is something that I wouldn't say a limitation, but not something that other B schools can potentially emulate. So those are the two broad things that I wanted to talk about. And then of course, uh, the choice is the candidate choice, what aligns with them, where they prefer to go. But these are broadly the things that at least to me are the biggest call outs. And Professor Arti, please feel free to add to this.
No, I completely agree. I
Yeah.
echo every word that you said. It's the ecosystem of a technology institute and a management or a business school, kind of a strategic understanding. And yes, focusing on the leadership decision making in the dynamic, transformative space that we are in the area of marketing today. And hence we said we'll focus on data analytics, we'll focus on AI and agentic AI. As Mohit rightly put, the immersions are again to show you the different lab facilities and methods and tools that are available to you today as marketers or as working professionals. And as given that this is an 8-month engagement, though we will meet once a week, but it's an 8-month engagement. I think that, and also that entire capstone journey that we are thinking of, we are hoping that everything that we cover in this program is something that you can go back the very next day or next week into your organization and apply these learnings in your day-to-day work. And that's how we've kind of designed the curriculum of this program. And hence, even the choice of the faculty members who are going to be engaged in this program is people who are coming with a lot of work experience and people who will bring in specializations in every topic that I already mentioned.
Yeah, thanks, Professor Arti. I think one more question is I think it's again a POV type of a question, going back to what you see in the industry and how are things changing for a CMO in 2026 and 2027. So what's your view on how are things? And I think as an underlying fact, skill sets emerging and changing for CMOs as they navigate the changing market landscapes, right? So I think that's again defer to Professor Aarti to answer that.
So my one-line answer would be is please come and attend session 1. This will answer that question. Yeah, but it's definitely the skills, yes, but most importantly, the mindset. How we kind of have to be open to the entire changing landscape. But at the same time, the fundamentals of marketing remain there. And again, upgrading your skills at the same time, changing your mindset and your leadership ability to kind of incorporate this changing dynamic into your organization is very, very important. And through the modules, through the sessions, we'll make sure we cover that transformation journey that a leader has to go through. And one is at a strategic level, 2 is at an implementation level. So how do you kind of equip your teams internally to, get used to these dynamic changes that are actually happening? Professor
Great.
Dinesh, if you want to add anything, I
Yes.
think, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, we've not given you an opportunity
No,
to
I
speak.
think
Yeah.
so. As the world is changing and the customer is changing, the marketing knowledge and skills, are changing very fast. Now you talk of cloud AI, managing your marketing campaigns, managing meta ads. This is one skill you guys need to have. On the other hand, you also need to understand the concept of marketing and marketing strategy knowledge, which is beyond time. So how do you integrate this knowledge and skills and actually implement the business strategy and the marketing strategy is something you're going to learn. So what you call, you need to understand the roots of marketing. You need to understand the offshoots, the new offshoots of marketing tree. And this is a program which is actually aimed at both. On one hand, we have Professor Mayank Parekh, who has spent his full life in marketing domain. On the other hand, we have people like Professor Satvik and Mandhar who are running their own companies and actually executing projects, multiple projects on marketing. We have Professor Danish, who is actually doing this at a global level in US. So whether it is a indigenous consumer in India or a global consumer, how that customer is being managed by the marketing companies, is something you are going to learn. So I don't see any point which has been left unaddressed in any of the marketing programs, and I have not seen any comparable marketing program in the market itself, be it a foreign university or an Indian university, comparable to this.
Great.
I would like to add one point, Mohit, here, saying that even when we are speaking of cases, some of our cases will also be actual real industry cases. For I think about 2 sessions, we are trying to get an industry protagonist come and talk to you, saying what has worked, what has not worked in their context. So that'll also kind of give you some insights into decision making, saying what sort of investments do you need to make in the AI tools, and how you build your teams with skills, or are you kind of going to wait and watch what is happening in the industry. So we'll talk about all those through live cases also. We'll try and get protagonists of 2 organizations. We are in conversations with them. Once we kind of announce the detailed module, you will have more details about these sessions.
Got it. So moving on, I think there's a question from Sunita on whether this is purely online or should people be available physically. So for Sunita, for campus immersion, I think the expectation is for folks to be present physically because that's how it's structured. But again, Professor Aarti, any suggestions on this? I think we want to keep it physical primarily, but yeah, I'll defer to you to add details here.
So we've had this discussion saying, what if somebody can't make it for the immersion session? We'll definitely have online recorded sessions from the classroom, or we'll make you join hybrid. But trust me on this, I don't know, you've not met me personally, but trust me on this, that visiting the IIT Bombay campus will be an experience in itself. Spending 3 days on IIT Bombay campus, learning through the sessions, will be again interesting. So if you're staying close by to campus, and more importantly, interacting with your peers face to face and with your faculty members face to face will be a different experience. And also not just about the in-class experience. As I said, the IIT Bombay campus is a beautiful campus with a lot of greenery. If I have to talk to you guys about different species, I will mention leopards, crocodiles, snakes, monkeys. But it is a different, it's a very conducive learning environment. So if given an opportunity, don't miss this. If you can definitely take time off your work schedule and visit the campus, it will definitely be a worthwhile experience. Yes, trust me on that.
I definitely echo those sentiments a few times that I've visited the campus. I think it's a beautiful place. But that being said, of course, I think uh, the kind of, as I mentioned before, right, the kind of peer-to-peer engagement community that we are trying to build as a part of this program, I think that one can only benefit from that by being present in person. So unless there's a restriction that you can't skip, we would very strongly suggest that all of you make it to the immersion in person, because I think that's going to be the most beneficial part of one of the most beneficial parts of the program. Moving on, so there's a question from Weber. I'm in pre-sale, in a pre-sale role from in one of the technical organizations, and then is this program specifically for marketeers or even for sales people?
So it is for marketing, sales, and allied areas. So there will be sessions on sales, negotiations, uh, looking at, as I said, the entire funnel from lead generation to loyalty building and so on. So there will be sessions on B2B also. So yes, it is for marketing as well as sales and allied areas, as I mentioned.
Okay, I think a couple of questions, but uh, Ipsita, you have a question in the Q&A, but I'm not sure. I don't understand this fully. I'll still try and talk about it. But yeah, the question is not super clear. But I think what you're trying to say is that given the nature of how AI is changing every year, and today it's agents, tomorrow it might be something else. So what are the main blocks where things might change, and how does one ensure that they continually learn, and will ongoing models labs be available through the year? So one thing, as we said, that the access to the program and the labs will only be limited to the duration of the program. However, after that, of course, to the extent possible, the faculty is available for engagement with the learners, as Professor Aarti also mentioned some time back. So that's on availability of labs and engagement with the faculty. I think on technology and how to think about it, and how to continue working in a space where things are changing very quickly, and what are some of the ways where some of this best applies. I think I again defer to Professor Aarti to answer this. Uh, it's more of a longitudinal type of a
So we will
space.
have these conversations in the classroom also, especially Satvik talking about how the whole landscape of AI is evolving almost every day, right? So Satvik will cover those, point of views, as well as give more insights and inputs in terms of what tools are available for organizations for free, what are based on subscription basis. So these things will be covered during these sessions.
Yeah. Another interesting question from Chirag. And by the way, before I take this, folks, I think we are already slightly over time, and we'll try and wrap up in the next 2-3 minutes. So if you have any further questions, please type it out in the chat window or the Q&A, and we'll take it. Right now, at least as we speak, I'm taking the last question that's available in either chat or Q&A window. So we'll take this. This is from Chirag, and he's asking, in a small scale organization with 2 to 4 people, how does the real-time application of learning happen from the program? So yeah, so Chirag, I think when Professor Aarti said that you might be able to apply some of these things, I think the thought was not that it only applies in a large organization. In fact, I would argue that applying things in a smaller organization is a lot more nimble than actually doing it in an organization with 500 or 600, 800 people, because that has its own processes and responsibility distribution. So I would argue that it's actually much much more realizable in a small scale organization. But again, deferring to Professor Aarti to add her
No, ditto. I would
insight.
have answered the same, Mohit. In fact, with smaller organizations, I think the mindset is very different, and also people are willing to experiment, and you don't carry the legacy kind of a baggage that we generally carry in large organizations. So whatever learnings we have, it will be contextualized to your own, industry, your own organization. And as I said, size won't have a moderation effect there. It won't really matter there. You should be able to experiment the learnings that you have in the classroom to any size of an organization.
Thanks, Professor Aarti. A couple more questions in the Q&A window, and again, time check, last 2 minutes. So there's a question from Sagarika. The program has a wonderful flow, which is very exciting. Thank you so much, Sagarika. That's been the intent from the faculty on this. What does the class frequency look like and the attendance requirement? So as we said, there will be an immersion in the beginning. In the middle, there will be online classes. The class frequency is roughly on a weekly basis. So we'll have about anywhere from 2 to 3 hours of interaction every week. It will be scheduled on the weekend. And then there will be a break after every 3 to 4 weeks for you to catch up, complete your projects, maybe take some time off, and then the journey continues. So this kind of frequency goes on for about 7.5 months, and then we meet on campus again for the end program campus immersion. In terms of attendance, Professor Aarti, would you like to add the attendance
So
requirement?
IIT Bombay has a policy of 80% attendance for the course completion certificate. I think Sangeeta, if you're on the call, I think this is the discussion we've had, right? Or I think
Yeah, that's right. But we'll share a detailed.
yes, and for the
Yeah.
immersion, as I said, if in case you can't make it live, like you can't make it in person, it'll be good if you can join the hybrid sessions, because the first immersion will lay the foundation for the program. It'll kind of help you set the pace of the program, understand the pace of the program, help you understand who your faculty is, what's their areas of specialization. And more details, I think Sangeeta and Mohit will share with you about the module dates as well as the attendance policy.
Yes. We'll now take the last question, and I think it's a fitting question at this point. So last question from Pawan. As AI tools are changing very quickly, how can you support a learner in this situation after they complete the course? So again, over to you, Professor Aarti, Professor Dinesh, to take that one.
Pawan, we are also learning on the go. Everything is changing so quickly. But as I said, right, so our faculty members are quite open. You can reach out to them, especially if you're looking at AI tools and, the changing landscape. So especially our industry practitioners as well as faculty mentors are happy to kind of, have some discussions with you post the program. We are available. Happy to take that forward after the program also.
Great. So with that, we'll close this. Thank you so much, Professor Aarti, for patiently answering all the questions in as much detail. And thank you so much, Professor Dinesh, for joining in, Ajay, and the entire team. To all the candidates who joined us today, thank you so much for making time. We hope this was helpful and allowed you to understand the program in a lot more detail than what's available on the brochure and the program website. And for if you have any further questions, we understand that we might not have been able to answer your specific questions. So do reach out to the Great Learning team. You can leave your details on the program webpage, and someone from the team will definitely get in touch with you to answer your specific queries. And yeah, so with that, we'll close today's session, and we hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for joining in, and we hope to see some of you as a part of the program as we start this in the next few months. Thank you again, Professor Aarti, Professor Dinesh, for joining in.
Thank you, Mohit and
Thanks, Ajay.
Sangeeta, for organizing this. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you so
everyone,
much,
for
Ajay.
joining.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.